Hi, Gene here with today's thought. Today we're going to talk about election fraud, and we're going to be going back to Arizona, specifically Maricopa County, Arizona. Now I'm talking about the 2022 midterm elections. During those elections, one of them was a gubernatorial election in Arizona. The Democrat, Katie Hobbs, was declared the winner, and I say declared the winner instead of that she was the winner, because Kari Lake, the Republican candidate who was supposedly defeated, she has been challenging the results. She says that she actually won. She went to court. There was the trial was several months ago, and Kari Lake lost. She appealed to the Arizona Supreme Court, and they dismissed most of the charges, but one very important one, I think I reported this before, the court upheld, which was signature verification. The judge had ruled that the signature verification procedures policy was correct, and that Kari Lake had no justification to challenge it. But the Supreme Court ruled, the Arizona Supreme Court, that the lower court got it completely wrong, because she wasn't challenging the policy. She was saying that the policy was not followed. In other words, signature verification, that signatures were not verified. And so the Supreme Court, the Arizona Supreme Court, sent the case back to the lower court and said she has a right to look at the signatures and to actually verify the signatures, or to see if they're legitimate or not, and demonstrate that there was enough errors in enough mismatched signatures to have affected the election. So the trial actually is beginning today, the 17th, which is the day before you're seeing this video, and it's a 3-day trial, so it's also during the day you're seeing this, and the day after. What I'm going to show you now, she has 3 whistleblowers who will testify that hundreds of thousands of signatures were sent through without verification, but she's got video, and that's what I want to show you, a video. Now, I'm going to show in a second with her, Kari Lake's voiceover commentary. Part of the very bottom of the video is obscured by a chyron, but you'll get the idea. You'll see what is happening. You will see, watch. Number one, watch the time, the footage counter, the timing counter on the top of the video. Watch that go by and see how much time is going by. And then look at, there are 2 people verifying, or supposed to be verifying, signatures. So watch the one on the left, watch the one on the right, and watch the super titles, or subtitles, whatever, showing the count, showing the signatures being verified. Really, the video just shows it all, and this is just one person, the person on the left. But watch the difference, okay? And watch again that number count, and then there at the very end of the video, there's a title that will summarize everything, and then I'll be back. So here's the video. Watch the video.
This challenge is not simply about a few bad signatures. We are prepared to show the systemic failure of the entire signature verification process, the only way we have security on those mail-in ballots, by the way, and it's a complete joke. And I know, we're old enough to remember the Carter Baker report, Steve. It wasn't that long ago when even the Democrats benefited mail-in voting as one of the greatest potential sources of fraud, because it opens up the chain of custody to malicious activity. And that's what we saw in this election. So signature verification is one of the only methods to verify that a mail-in ballot would be authentic. And the process we have in Maricopa County is a complete sham. They're not following the law at all. So my team and we've identified 3 whistleblowers who were intimately involved in the signature verification process in Maricopa County. They speak of how they were rejecting tens of thousands of signatures, up to the tune of maybe 130,000 ballots. And then somewhere above them in the chain of command, they were just being sent on through. Those ballots were being sent through anyway. And you should see some of these signatures. It's like a chicken scratch. Scrawls. It's an absolute joke, doesn't even match the voter's signature. It's a willful violation of the law, and we're not going to sit here and take it anymore. So we're going to prove this. These mismatched signatures, they were added to the final count. They should have been tossed out completely. Our whistleblowers, Steve, are going to be exposing the process for what it's worth and what it is. It's a complete sham. It's a lie. It's Maricopa County's way of injecting hundreds of thousands of bad ballots into the system, and we're confident that the number of fraudulent ballots exceeds the 17,000 margin separating myself and Katie Hobbs in their count of the election. And this is just the tip of the iceberg.
You just saw the video. The one on the right, she was able to, in the time that you were watching, was able to verify 9 signatures, and you see that she took time to look at each signature. The one on the left, in the same amount of time, 71 signatures. He, the person on the left just sent them right through. That's obvious from watching the video. That person did no signature verification. That is just one person. How many more did that? And you can see that there's that one person could not see, the one on the right and the left, each one could not see what the other was doing. So no criticism of the one on the right. The one on the right was doing the job that was supposed to be done. But the one on the left, it's obvious fraud, and it's right there on videotape. That alone should justify calling a new election. But these, as Carrie Lake explained, that was her voice on the voiceover. Some of these signatures are just chicken scratches next to the signature on record against which the chicken scratch is being verified. And that's the other point that is not in that video. But besides putting them through, why the chicken scratches and why not the match? Well, try it yourself. Take a piece of paper, write your signature, and then sign the same piece of paper again. And you sign your same name, in the same amount of time, and see how much that, let's say, well, give yourself 20 seconds, okay? Sign your name and then sign your name again. In other words, the one would be simulating the one in the records, and the other one would be your signature on, ideally at the polling place, but it should be the same deal on an envelope, on a mail-in ballot envelope. But now, that same 20 seconds, try to sign, I don't know, 20, sign 20 in that same 20 seconds. Take just 1 second to do each one, and you're going to see you're going to get a chicken scratch. And that's obviously what was happening, is so people were taking these mail-in ballots and not the person who signed it. And even if it was the person who signed a ballot, that person could only sign one ballot. Somebody was signing ballots very fast, signing them very fast to get as many ballots in as possible to affect the election. And the same idea, the same process was repeated on the verification end, where somebody was just channeling them through, just putting them through without, taking about 2 seconds, as you just saw, for each signature. And somebody already testified at an earlier hearing that signature verification in any case is subjective. So whether a signature gets, and this was an expert, and that expert testified that even if you're doing your job, whether a signature gets passed, whether a ballot envelope gets passed through or not, can very much depend on the person who is evaluating the signatures, because it's subjective. Subjective means that two different people could look at the same signature and the signature on a record and reach two different conclusions. So you can see that's why a long time ago, even Democrats, it was a committee, Jimmy Carter and I think it was James Baker, they investigated and they said that mail-in voting is just ripe for fraud. And there is your example. You just saw it in that video. That's my thought for today. Thanks for stopping by. If you could subscribe, that would be great. But I would love to see all of you again in any case. And until I do, bye.